welcome back to SEMA's podcast. Y'all ready for this? Where we talk about all things emergency preparedness to help you and your family get ready for any type of natural or man-made disaster right here in Chatham County. You guys, it is officially hurricane season in Chatham County and for the Atlantic Ocean. So welcome to hurricane season. Welcome to the next 6 months where we will get to think about hurricanes and all the things that might happen within our community. So get excited about that. There's so many different things that we could talk about at the beginning of hurricane season and throughout our hurricane season episodes here on our podcast. But one of the most important things that we say at SEMA all the time is you are dead in the water if you cannot stay informed. So we've dedicated an entire episode to talking about how you can stay informed, the things that you need to know, what you can do to make sure that you know what's happening in our community. So today I have with me our operations guru and all around awesome person, Aaron Thompson. Aaron, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
And we have for the very first time, our newest VISTA or Volunteers in Service to America, Sakili Johnson. Sakili, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. Hi.
All right, so like I said, we're going to talk about staying informed. There are so many different ways that you can stay informed. There are apps, there are text message services, email services, there's NOAA weather radios. We'll talk about all of those different things, how you can stay informed and what you should do to make sure that you're ready for the hurricane season that is upon us. So Sakili, will you go ahead and get us started?
Sure. So speaking of so many notifications and important messages, Aaron, I hear SEMA has this thing called SEMA Alert. Can you tell us more about SEMA Alert and what types of messages are sent out?
Yeah, for sure. We do have what's called SEMA Alerts, which is the platform that we use to send out alerts to our community through a variety of different means. That's through text messages, that's through emails. We also send to our social media platforms of Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And we send out messages on all kinds of incidents and hazards. We send weather messages, whether that's severe weather notifications or flooding notifications. We also send out about road closures. If there's a road that's closed that might impact a lot of people in their drive home or drive to work every day. We send out messages about missing persons in assistance to our law enforcement partners. So there's just a ton of different types of messages that we send out every day.
That sounds pretty important. Can you tell us who should register for SEMA Alerts?
Yeah, absolutely. It's very important. And, we always encourage everyone in our community to sign up for those alerts, whether it's people who live in Chatham County or people who work in Chatham County and might live in some of the surrounding areas or visitors to Chatham County. We always say that anyone in the community should sign up for SEMA Alerts.
Great. And how do they sign up for SEMA Alerts?
Well, there's two different ways to sign up for SEMA Alerts. The first and probably the easiest way is to text SEMA, CEMA, to 77295. And if they do that, they can sign up for our alerts right then and there, just straight from their phone. It's important to note that only signs them up for text message alerts though. So if they would like to sign up for text messages and emails, they can go to our website, chathamemergency.org, and there's a link up at the top of the page that can help them sign up there by creating a Smart 911 profile.
Cool. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so let's switch it up a little bit. Now I get to ask the questions, and Sakili is going to be our subject matter expert. Sakili, talk to us about NOAA Weather Radio. What is it?
Sure. So I recently learned about the NOAA Weather Radio when I started working for SEMA. The NOAA Weather Radio is essentially the voice of the National Weather Service. It's this comprehensive network of multiple radio stations, and the goal is to provide the listener or watcher, as we'll talk about a little bit later, with the most up-to-date weather information 24/7, both emergency and regular forecasts.
All right, so why would someone want one of those? Why do they want the voice of the National Weather Service in their house?
Right. So as I mentioned, you can get the most reliable emergency and regular forecast information. And this is particularly important during times like hurricane season, where you need a reliable, consistent source for emergency updates and things like hurricane watches and warnings.
Okay, so a lot of questions that we get, from our community is what resources exist for those that might have functional or access needs that would prevent them from being able to use traditional notification ideas or preferences? What does NOAA Weather Radio have that might be beneficial?
That's a great question. So as you probably know, you have the option to listen for the weather alerts because it's a weather radio, but there's also a visual option where you will get a visual display on the top of the NOAA Weather Radio that will let you know of tornado watches and warnings and whatever you choose to program your NOAA Weather Radio for, so that people with blind and or low vision and also people who are hard of hearing or deaf can take advantage of whichever service that they need.
Awesome. Recently I heard too that there are bed shaker versions of NOAA Weather Radio now that will actually physically shake your bed to let you know that there's an alert going off. So that's definitely something to look into and something that I think might be really beneficial to some members of our community.
Sounds like a cool feature.
Yeah.
All right, Chelsea, you've had a chance to ask me some questions, and now it's my turn again. You and I are both familiar with SEMA's social media, but let's talk to our listeners about the different platforms that we use.
Yes, so SEMA is no stranger to social media. We are very well integrated. We have Facebook, we've got Instagram, we've got Twitter. We're also active on Nextdoor. All of our information is housed on YouTube. So if you wanted to go in and watch videos about preparedness or how to create an emergency kit, almost any social media platform that we can get on that allows you to archive, we are going to be on. Now, would I love to be on Snapchat and TikTok? Absolutely. Will they let me? Not yet. It's coming now. Promise. We're working on it.
All right. Well, we clearly have a strong social media presence, but what type of content do we post on there?
So Aaron kind of talked about it at the beginning. We post some of the same things that we do on our regular alerting in our SEMA alert, we would post on social media. But the idea here is that we're trying to make it in a shareable format. So it's going to be a picture, it's going to be some type of infographic that you would be able to take the information on and share it to your social networks. Because the point of social media isn't to come find information from government agencies, it's to be able to share it with your friends, because it means so much more if you were to share that. So let's say Sakili shares something on her social media, maybe her Instagram. Her friends are going to see that, her family's going to see that, and they're going to feel more inclined to take action. So it's all about getting that message out there to then let your social network kind of take over, do its thing, and share those important life safety messages.
How quick would you say your response time on social media is?
Our response time is actually very quick, especially during an emergency situation. Fun fact, in 2018, SEMA won an award, a national award, for how fast we could respond to items on social media. So during an EOC activation or an Emergency Operations Center activation, we've got an entire team that's called ESF 15, or Emergency Support Function. I know, friends, we're all about the acronyms at SEMA. Our name is an acronym, we get it, but ESF 15, their sole purpose is to make sure that the community is informed. So we're going to be responding to your messages when the EOC is activated 24/7. So if you have a question, if you can't get us on the phone or you don't feel comfortable calling our office, you can always send us a message on Facebook, send us a direct message on Instagram, Twitter, whatever you would like, whatever you feel more comfortable with, and we will respond to those with the most up-to-date information that is available. One caveat to that: please do not feel like you need to comment on Facebook, send us a direct message, comment on Instagram, send us a direct message. It all goes to the same inbox, so we're going to see all of them. We will respond to every last one of them. So if you ask us the same question across all different platforms, you're going to get the same answer, I promise. And it's really not going to help increase your response time. So one message will do, and we'll make sure that we respond back to you.
That's great, Chelsea. Earlier I talked about signing up for SEMA alerts on our website, chathamemergency.org. There is another website where people can go to get some information during a disaster. Can you tell us a little bit about the two websites, and what should people use as they get ready for hurricane season?
Yeah, that is a fantastic question, Aaron. So there are two websites. One of them just recently came out because of COVID-19. We realized that there is a challenge of sharing accurate information that's timely. So we created this site, ready.chathamcountyga.gov, and that is a disaster website. So when there is a significant threat to our community, COVID being one of them, we did use it towards the beginning of COVID. a hurricane, tornado, something that's very actively threatening our community, we're going to ramp up this page so that people will be able to go and get all of the information that they're going to need. So we're going to link to all of our municipalities. We're going to link to the school system to make sure that you understand what's going on with the school system. All of these partners have come together and really made this a fabulous website so that you won't have to search around and find all of these different things. And what we really hated is, having one place and then sending everybody to 5 million different locations. So one website that's going to be able to give you the information that you need in a timely and accurate manner. When it's not in an emergency event, that site, it's there, it's an active site you can go to right now, but the most up-to-date information when we're not in an emergency situation is going to be on SEMA's standard webpage. And that's what Aaron was talking about earlier. That's chathamemergency.org. You're going to see information about preparedness things. You're going to see how you can create your emergency kit, how you're going to be able to prepare for any type of natural or man-made disaster right here in Chatham County. Or you could just listen to our podcast, because that's the same spiel I give at the beginning of each of our podcasts. You guys probably recited by now.
All right, that's great, Chelsea. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Aaron, you asked me questions. Now it's your turn. Let's
All right.
talk about Emergency Operations Center phone operations. That's
Okay.
a mouthful.
That is-
During an emergency, if someone has a question, who do they call and how do they get a hold of us?
Yeah, so during an emergency, in our Emergency Operations Center, or EOC, we staff what's called phone operators. And these people are sitting around and waiting for you to call and ask them questions. So they are just ready and waiting to give you the most up-to-date information. And you can contact them by calling the same number that you would call to call our office. And that's 912-201-4500. And we have those people standing by just waiting with the most up-to-date information from the EOC so that they can answer your questions. We always encourage folks to use all the available platforms to get information, but we are certainly ready if you do have a question that's not answered on our social media or on our website to take your phone calls.
Yeah, so it's not only if they just have a generic question that they want to ask, but if they're confused about something, right? If they're confused, or if they hear maybe a rumor, is this still the correct line for them to call?
Yeah, absolutely. There's only so much that we can say in a social media post. We're limited to the amount of characters that we can put into an infographic or on a Twitter post. So if there's people who have questions about what they see out there or what they may be hearing from other folks that might not be an official source of information, we always encourage them to call us for some clarification on what an official response would be.
Yes. So listeners, it's kind of like a game of telephone is the way that I see it. So social media can certainly be that way. We put out some information, somebody takes it out of the format, they share it on their own, or, hey, I heard this thing happen. If you guys want the truth, if you want to know what's going on, you can head to SEMA's website. You can head to SEMA's Facebook page or any of our social media pages. Or as Aaron just talked about, you can give us a call and you can ask, because we want all of our residents to know the most up-to-date information. And also recognize that sometimes, especially during hurricane season, as a storm's approaching, you guys might find something that's 4 or 5 days old at that point, and that's not the most up-to-date information. So give us a call, find a way to get a hold of us, and it's your responsibility to take action to make sure that you stay informed this hurricane season. So listeners, you just heard us all ramble on about so many different options that you have to stay informed this hurricane season. Your job is to take action, and take action right now. We're in the middle of hurricane season. It just started this week. So take the time, think about what you're going to do, think about all of the different options that we laid out in front of you, and go ahead and make it happen for you and your family. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, give us a call, send us a message, and we'll be sure to respond. Be sure to tune in next week as we talk about the contraflow of I-16. Yes, we are talking about the dreaded E word of evacuation, and we're talking about how we contraflow. So we've actually convinced some of our partners over at the Georgia Department of Transportation to come talk to us, and we're going to ask them all of the hard questions about contraflow. So we hope to see you next week, and until then, we'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.
Bye.